How's it going, everyone? Today I'll be using this Gambit aggression deck to take on the Morlock Siege scenario on heroic difficulty. This is part of my channel challenge of trying to beat every scenario in the game on heroic difficulty using a different hero, and so this will kick off our next evolution scenarios. I was planning to do Civil War next, but it's been delayed by about a month, so I think that gives me time to fit in another full cycle here of the next evolution scenarios. Then following Civil War, Galaxy's Most Wanted will be the last wave that I have to do. So of course, I think that will be very challenging, but I've also saved some of the best heroes in the game for that one. Morlock Siege is one of the easiest scenarios in the game. Gambit is not, I wouldn't call him one of the weakest heroes. We probably could have gotten a win here or tried to get a win with one of the weaker heroes, but he is on, at least as far as mutants go, he's probably on the weaker side. Maybe bottom 25% of heroes overall. So a good opportunity to score a win with a relatively weak hero against an easy scenario, and to use aggression as well. Aggression is the aspect I've had the most difficult time scoring wins with, often pulling that out in the case of weaker scenarios as well. And just a little bit, I like to align the mutants with the mutant scenarios as much as I can for just a little touch of flavor. So the deck we've got here, it's first and foremost just a Utopia aggression ally deck. So we've got 10 total allies plus Utopia. I mean, that alone probably makes Gambit, maybe a C tier hero at least or something. But so that's going to be very strong, give us very consistent activations, and with a bunch of allies, of course, we're going to have pretty good value overall. The extra little wrinkle I've added is Firepower. So this is a card that came out in the Winter Soldier hero pack not too long ago, and combos with Gambit's hero ability pretty nicely. So when we play an attack event, Gambit lets us spend his charge counters for that event to deal +1 damage for each counter removed. So that makes Firepower deal 3 damage plus however many charge counters we use per weapon that we exhaust. So say we exhaust 3 weapon upgrades, then we get to do, say we exhaust 3 weapons and spend 3 charge counters, we get to do 6 damage 3 times. So that's a really strong burst to close out the game. So I'm not completely built around it in the sense that I've only got 1 copy of Firepower. I do have Keep Up the Pressure to help go get it, but really this is the kind of card I only really need to play once the whole game, probably, to finish the game. So Firepower requires us to have some weapons, so this makes a little bit of sense with Gambit, who's got the staff, which is a weapon. Then we've also got 2 hand cannon, which is a generically good card, and 2 sidearm. Sidearm, a nice little niche in this scenario because the villains gain retaliate after we start putting villains under the routed environment. So sidearm can help us score some damage without suffering the consequential damage due to those allies' attacks gaining ranged. And that's really all there is to it. We've got 3 copies of Chase Them Down. I think thwarting might be a little risky with Gambit. He's only got a thwart stat of 1. Creole Charmer is a decent thwart event, especially with an extra confusion application, but Gambit is a bit behind in the thwarting, so 3 copies of Chase Them Down to help with that. Morlock Siege is pretty minion dense to take advantage of that. And a couple Into the Fray, another attack event that can be boosted by Gambit's hero ability, but can convert some of that damage into threat removal on the main scheme. So I think rounding it out pretty nicely in the threat category. So that's what we've got. High priority by far with this deck is to get Utopia in play. If we get hand cannon out, right, we can use it freely, but then once it gets down to 1 charge counter, we might want to leave it in play so that it just sticks around to be exhausted by Firepower. But we'll have to play that by ear. And similarly with sidearm, if we can keep it on an ally and not sort of sacrifice that ally so that that weapon is around for Firepower, that's ideal. But we'll just have to see how the game plays out. So there we've got a look at the deck. Let's take a look at the scenario. So I always like to talk about the scenario a bit to give a primer if you're less familiar with the scenario, and to give some strategy tips, certain things I'm looking for when trying to challenge this scenario. First thing to understand is that we've got 7 potential villains, of which we'll have to defeat 3 over the course of the game. So at the start of the game, we shuffle them up and pick 3 at random that form our villain deck, and then we have to defeat them one by one in order to ultimately win the game. So, of course, they've got some differences, but they all have the same general format, the same general skeleton, which is that they have a forced interrupt when they attack you or an ally you control. Generally, one of the abilities is to give them just plus attack, and then the other ability can be any number of different things. So one thing that makes this scenario relatively easy is, right, none of them are steady or stalwart, and especially on the ones where we can just give them plus attack, those are easy attacks to just block. So the villain cards themselves aren't always the most difficult. There is one exception, which is Harpoon. So Harpoon doesn't follow the same structure. His interrupts are either take 3 indirect damage, so no blocking that, I mean that's just straight up damage, or give him an additional face down boost and the attack gains overkill. So that we cannot profitably block with allies either. So Harpoon is definitely the worst one to get, although he does only have one scheme, so we can try to exploit that more throughout the game if we get Harpoon. Blockbuster is also a little subtly different. His plus attack ability also gives the attack overkill, but giving him a tough status usually isn't that bad as the other option for him. So on the main scheme, we start the game on scheme 1, which after we put threat on during step 1, we also add a knock counter. So whether this advances or whether we get to 3 knock counters, that is going to bring us, no matter what, to stage 2. If we advanced via the knock counters, take a step back. Once we advance, we put 2 of these Morlock allies into play. These Morlocks have an interrupt that makes enemies attack them instead of our hero. So now the villains will be attacking them every opportunity they get. If we advanced to main scheme 2 using knock counters, we give a tough status to each of the Morlocks. So this is a massive, massive benefit because it's like we get 2 free attacks blanked. So really, really want to advance via the knock counters if we can. Not unbeatable if we don't, but definitely want that. Then on stage 2, it's got 8 threat for the threshold. When we advance, we also shuffle in this hide treachery, which will give the Morlock ally a tough status whether it is revealed as a treachery or as a boost ability. So that will help us out quite a bit. So that's one of the reasons why this scenario, another reason why this scenario is on the easier end, because at some point in the game, you just get like 2 free blocks. You could even call it 3 in solo because we can win as long as there's 1 Morlock in play. So we could even lose a Morlock entirely to an attack. So it's like the scenario spots us with 3 attack defenses and gives us even more via this hide treachery. So that's why it's kind of on the easier side. One thing to really watch out for, the most impactful encounter card in the deck, is Seek the Weak. When revealed in hero form, the villain attacks you. If there's at least 1 villain under routed, this attack gains overkill. So extra activations, always something to watch out for, but these will have overkill if there's at least 1 villain under routed. And I should have said this to begin with, but whenever we defeat a villain, we put that villain underneath this environment routed. What this does is the active villain will always gain 1 retaliate for each card under there. So the villain gains retaliate as the scenario goes on. And after we reveal a new villain, if there happens to be a minion in play sharing a name, we discard that minion, and the villain activates against us. So, right, there's not like a huge rush to advance, so when there's no one under here, it doesn't really do anything, but then once we start advancing, things do ramp up in difficulty. So, for example, once we get 1 card under, now Seek the Weak gives an extra attack activation that has overkill. Notably, the boost ability, if drawn on an attack, also gains overkill. So we really have to watch out for that. Small little rules thing to note. So if an attack is initiated against the Morlock ally, but we defend with our own ally, any overkill damage goes to our hero, which is maybe a little unintuitive since our hero wasn't the original target of the attack, but that is the rules as written. So I will obviously play it as such. Common theme throughout the rest of the Morlock Siege encounter cards are they just get worse the more villains are under routed. So back in action, this is a card that gives a villain a tough and places threat on the main scheme equal to the number of villains under routed. Always want to note ways outside of activations to add threat to the main scheme, since that is one of the ways we can lose the game. A couple attachments here that kind of scale in how bad they are depending on the number of villains under routed. Push to the limit's kind of a notable one, can give them steady while there's one villain, or stalwart while there's two villains. So that is a way for the villain to gain steady or stalwart, but it's only one card, so stunning and confusing can definitely still be in the picture. A handful of side schemes here with pretty similar text. They all get extra threat per villain under routed. I'm using the recommended modular sets. Here we've got Mutant Slayers and Military Grade. So Mutant Slayers is pretty cool. It's got all the same 7 characters as the villains we could face. None of them are terribly difficult, 4 or 5 health, some constant abilities, a little bit of retaliate, a little bit of guard, a little bit of patrol, and very similar forced interrupts as well. Whenever they attack, they get some bonus, but of course being minions, assuming we can kill them right away, we never have to deal with that. So they aren't terribly difficult cards overall. Another little rules thing to note, just in case you're not familiar, if we would draw a minion that is a unique minion and has the same name as another character in play, you just discard that minion and draw a replacement card. So we can never have 2 of the same unique character in play. A couple extra cards that spawn a Marauder, and then a side scheme that gives Marauders Quick Strike. Military Grade is a fairly easy one overall. It comes with some attachments and a side scheme that draws up an attachment when defeated. Learning lots of rules in this scenario. Another good rules thing is that usually when a villain has counters or statuses or attachments, if we advance the stage, all of those attachments and counters and things stay on the villain. The exception is if the newly revealed villain has a different name than the first villain. So that would be the case in this scenario since they all have different names. So actually any attachments that are on the villain, they'll just fall off if we advance to the next stage. So that is a way to sort of work around these attachments as well as the military grade. These inhibitor collars, they actually go on our identity, but all we have to do is exhaust a character or take 3 damage to discard it. So that's usually pretty easy to answer, especially when we've got Morlocks that we can exhaust. But a couple, retaliate attachment that says they can't take more than 2 damage. So a little bit inconvenient, but not the worst encounter cards by any means. So overall strategy things, stunning and confusing is at full effect here. A little bit of a shallow main scheme, but we do get a few turns for free at the start where we don't have to worry as much about it. So hopefully we're maybe built up enough or have some confusion appliers in play by the time that comes out. And then the Morlocks just give us such a huge benefit once they come in play that really makes the scenario easier. It's relatively minion dense with all these 7 minions in the Mutant Slayers, so another good opportunity for aggression to make use of lots of our attack output, a lot of our damage output. And really, another big thing is just spend as much of the game as you can on the first stage of the villain, build up all your stuff because all the encounter cards are much weaker. The villain doesn't have retaliate yet, so then once you're all nice and built up, then we can push through the second and third villain more quickly to not have to deal with the encounter cards that get worse. So there we go. Talked about the deck, talked about the scenario. Let's get into the game. So we're ready to get started here. We've got the routed environment in play. We'll set aside our Hide, Treachery, and the Morlock allies. And then we will create our villain deck. So we'll get 3 of these in a stack. Those are the 3 we need to defeat to win the game. And like I said in the deck breakdown, you kind of got to trust me that I'm not just recording this part of the video, 100 times to get the starting one I want. At least if the first one's Harpoon, at least you know that it's definitely random because Harpoon is the worst one to get. And we got Blockbuster. So he'll come in with 14 health. Blockbuster is a tricky one though. Either he gets a tough status card or he gets +2 attack and overkill. So we'll generally be giving him a tough status card. So that is worse than the ones that just get plus attack and nothing else. He's also got very low scheme, which is overall pretty nice. We do have to play around the possibility of Harpoon being the second or third villain, however, especially when they or well, when we reveal them and have to suffer an attack, an activation from them immediately, which will often be an attack, but might not always be. All right, so cards we want to see. Utopia is probably the most important setup card to get. Otherwise, some allies, as always, get some blocks for these early turns. Anything that can help us, well, stay alive, but then also help us advance the main scheme using knock counters. So we want to be pretty strict on the main scheme as well. Keeping it down low and avoiding an advance, flipping it. Okay, so here we go, opening hand. Okay, so not the best hand. So these are definitely mulligans. I think we'll keep the double no matter what. So Creole Charmer only has one threat to remove, but it would guarantee our confusion on Blockbuster, so that next turn we have a pretty safe flip down. And then Triage, even though I don't have healing yet, like I really want an ally who could block right away. So sort of in that category of like, I want to keep it, I would like to not have to play it, but we've got it there if it's our only good ally option. So now how much do I care about the Creole Charmer? I think I will keep that as well. I think the benefit of getting that confused is so high. Again, maybe I just draw something that I don't even end up playing that, but I think I will keep it for the option. Okay, so 2 blanks there. Hand Cannon is a possibly relevant card. I'm going to be 1 resource inefficient, whatever happens here. So I definitely play Triage, I think, for the block. Then I either play Creole Charmer or Hand Cannon. I think Creole Charmer is going to be the decision. And then considering everything else, I think I'll keep Hand Cannon in hand. So let's pay 2 for Creole Charmer, removing 1 threat from the main scheme and confusing the villain. We'll pay 2 for Triage. Okay, new thoughts. How crazy is it? Well, I should have considered this from the get-go, but is it crazy to just stay in Alter Ego as is? I actually think I'd rather not do that. I want to start ticking up charge counters, and the way the timing goes, I'd rather be in hero form after the 3rd villain phase. So yeah, let's just do this. Pay 2 for Triage. Waste the healing, unfortunately. Flip. Let's get a counter. Attack for 2. So now one question is, do I even plan to block this first attack? I think I don't, so let's just save Triage and end the turn. Yeah, we'll keep Hand Cannon in hand. Ooh, Forge really nice, Rogue really nice. Unfortunately, we won't have Rogue completely reduced, but playing Rogue for 1 is still phenomenal. 1 threat on the main scheme, 1 knock counter. Blockbuster attacks, we'll give him tough. And I'm just going to take it, so 3 plus a boost of 2 is 5. 2 encounter cards. Bolstered by Wrath gives him +1/+1. We can exhaust a character and spend X resources to discard this. X being 0 because 0 is the number of villains underrouted. Chimera is a minion with Patrol. So, how does this look here? Let's go put 1 counter on. It's so close because I can get up to 3 counters by playing Forge. Go get Utopia, play Utopia. Don't quite have enough for Rogue, sadly. I can't imagine playing Rogue is not correct just because of how efficient it is. So let's do this. Let's pay 2 for hand cannon. Comes in with 3 charge counters. Molecular acceleration gives me another counter up to 3. Let's keep Forge in hand. Let's pay 1 for Rogue. Gambit will attack Chimera. We'll use the cannon to buff it to 4. Chimera will take 4. Triage will finish her off for 1. I'm going to save Rogue's activation since we've got the toughness. And let's flip down and end the turn. Okay, solid hand. 1 threat, 1 knock counter. Oh, sorry. Before I flip down, let's exhaust Rogue and spend 0 resources to discard this. No reason I wouldn't have done that, even though I've gotten some new information. So we did that. Confused goes away, 2 encounter cards. And then that was last turn, so Rogue's back to ready. Okay, back in action, give the villain a tough. Place threat on the main scheme equal to the number of villains under routed, which is 0. So literally doing nothing. Love to see it. There is an advance. Triple would hurt here. 1 plus a boost of 1, luckily. So that will take it up to 4, which is totally fine. So effectively, because we didn't actually advance, that advance is blank because we will go to scheme 2 now once we get our 3rd lock counter. But we've got a great turn here. We'll pay 2 for Forge. I guess I assumed I was getting Utopia. X-Jet could be possibly better. I'm not going to trigger another X-Men this turn. Let's actually get X-Jet. Still happy to draw Utopia whenever I play it, but it's not like Remy's activation is crazy strong anyways over the course of the next 2 turns, so. Okay, I'll recover with Remy. Flip. Add a charge counter up to 4. Pay 3 for the X-Jet. Let's have Forge attack off the tough. Let's put sidearm on Rogue. She'll probably be around the longest. I'll still save her tough card, and let's end the turn. Another fantastic hand. So we'll go up to 5 threat on the main scheme, 3 knock counters, which advances us. So we'll shuffle Hide in. Because we're in a single player game, we get 2 Morlock allies. Because it advanced via toughness, because it advanced via knock counters, they're both tough. We'll shuffle in Hide. And then the Morlocks have the Forced Interrupt. Whenever an enemy attacks you, it attacks a Morlock you control instead. Action on this main scheme here, exhaust a Morlock ally to shuffle Hide from the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So this is a scenario that, obviously, in general, it's harder because it's heroic, but the amount it gets harder is substantially less because we're actually more likely to see these hides these beneficial treacheries in Heroic. Okay, so what do we want to do here? So Blockbuster is attacking. He's attacking a Morlock. And I kind of like letting attack hit the Morlock because then we can actually take advantage of hide when we see it. So let's give this +2 attack and overkill. We'll just let it, but we won't defend for the Morlock. Boost of 1, no extra ability, so that'll knock off the tough. Now also we don't feel bad about like thwarting or attacking with this Morlock. 2 encounter cards. Grey Crow. Territorial Control. Has Assault, which means we thwart it with our attack. Comes in with 1 extra threat for each villain under routed, which is 0. Okay, still no problem. I do have full allies. These don't count against the ally limit, but I am full with these. So I guess if I would have been thinking ahead, that actually would have been a reason perhaps to block with one of these allies. All right, let's get a charge counter. Let's attack Grey Crow using the hand cannon. So that'll be 4 damage. Let's chase them down to remove 2 threat from territorial control. Even though it's got Assault, that only affects basic thwarts, so we can still use a card like Chase Them Down to do that. Let's have Forge attack for 1, just to open up the spot. Pay 2, including Molecular Acceleration for Beak. When he enters, we'll remove... okay. I guess I didn't need to chase them down there. No, I guess it did do something. So we'll remove 1 threat from a scheme for each X-Men ally we control. We've got 3, so we'll finish off territorial control. And then I'm tempted to just rip a charged card in there, even though we could just develop more with the Thieves Guild. Man, that's so rarely gonna come up though. So let's just pay 2 for the charged card. Obviously we have the opportunity to charge it, but this is only a single target attack. It's maybe not the best use for the charge counters, but we're gonna keep getting charge counters. Let's be patient. I'm only gonna hit him for 4. Down to 7. How many allies are left in the deck? 1, 2, 3 in the discard, 3 in play. So 4 allies left in the deck. So I'm fine, yeah, using them up quickly. So Beak will attack for 1. Guess, yeah, I'll have this Morlock attack for 1. Now I could flip down, or did I already flip up this turn? No, because we got attacked. But we don't have the confusion active, so I think we just stay. Apologies for, kind of sounds like hail at my window. Could just be hard rain. Hopefully it's more soothing than distracting. So I might just leave this hand cannon on 1 then to set up for an eventual firepower kill, seeing our keep up the pressure in hand. 1 threat on the main scheme. Blockbuster attacks a Morlock. Let's say that he's attacking this Morlock, just in case it overkills, even though I am going to defend for him. Let's defend with Beak. Oh no, sorry. If it overkills it, we'll go to Gambit. So... okay. So let's give him a tough status card. And attack comes into Gambit, or not Gambit, into Beak. It is Seek the Weak, so this will gain Overkill. So it has a boost of 1 plus that ability, so 1 damage into Beak, 3 damage into Gambit. Okay, it's actually kind of loud. I'm going to assume it's kind of loud to you, so let's just whip through this villain phase, but then I will cut the video and wait for this storm to die down. Okay, so we've got, we did that, we took Overkill, 2 encounter cards. Under Fire number 1 is Exhaustion, which surges into Caught Off Guard. It's going to be either Sidearm or the last hand cannon thing here. Let's do the hand cannon actually. Okay, second card from Under Fire is Shadow of the Past. Ooh, what a turn there. Under Fire, Under Fire, Exhaustion, Shadow of the Past. So notably, we're shuffling in some Quick Strike minions, and then Belladonna herself will Quick Strike. So if she defeats a character, we'll end up placing 2 threat here and 2 threat on the main scheme. So one option is to just have her attack the Morlock, because a 3 damage attack won't kill it. Or we could obviously just have Rogue block with the Tough. Okay, well the noise has died down a bit, so maybe I keep it riding here. Let's do a Rogue block for the 3 damage. And second normal card, Guild Business, which I can't even discard this turn. So okay, we've got to claw ourselves back here. This is definitely not ideal. So let's see what we can do. Really wish I had a charged card, although I could go get it with Keep Up the Pressure. It's in the deck to go get Firepower for the win, but taking Belladonna off the board would be nice here as well. And I can play everything there. So sure, let's go Keep Up the Pressure. Because Sidearm's technically not. If I did want a Firepower, but that's not going to happen yet. Let's pay 2 for Utopia. I still think that's strong enough that I just want to get that in play for future. Let's go. Man, the Tough on the Morlock would really suck to lose. So I either lose the Tough on the Morlock or I lose Triage. Just confirm here. 1 advance, but not both. I think I let Triage go. So Triage thwart for 1 on Keep Up the Pressure. Morlock thwart the other 1. So this goes to the victory display. There's one charged card. No, sorry, all three are in here, so don't have to debate this very subtle difference of thinning the deck with a charged card. And then we'll pay 2 for charged card. So it's automatically dealing 1 extra because we defeated Keep Up the Pressure, but I do want to spend 2 charge counters to give it piercing. And do I just spend a third to give it overkill as well? Yeah, I guess I maybe do. Sure, I'll spend a third to give it overkill. So this is technically 8 damage, I guess. But we've got 5 with piercing here to kill Belladonna. We'll overkill to hit the tough. And now, what do we do? I think we probably stay in hero form again, because this is going to go up to 3. If we flip down, it's going to go up to 3, 4 plus a boost. Advance probably kills us, and we know we're getting an extra card. But we've got some margin here on the damage side. Let's do Gambit's ability to go up to 4 and end the turn. Interesting hand, lots of 3-cost cards. So 2 threat on the main scheme. Blockbuster attacks. We'll say this Morlock. I'll give him +2 attack and overkill. No additional boost ability. Knocks off the tough from the Morlock. 3 encounter cards because we were unable to clear guild business. Inhibitor Collar is not bad at all. Attaches to our identity. Blanks our text box and gives us -1 attack. Seek the Weak is going to be an attack. And if there was at least 1 villain under routed, it gains overkill, but there is not. So now this is tricky. I could just let him take out a Morlock. I think it's too inefficient to block with Rogue. I can defend myself. I will get a ready back with Utopia. I shouldn't die just from that. But then I'm just dealing with low health. I think I'll defend. Let's give Blockbuster a tough and defend. So 3 plus a boost of 1. Defend for 3, take 1. Last card, by any means, place 1 threat here for each villain under routed, which is none, so, but 3 is still kind of a lot. But nothing that Professor X can't handle. Let's put a charge counter on. And it's going to be a little inefficient turn here, unfortunately. But we'll spend 3 for Professor X, confusing Blockbuster, using Utopia to ready. Professor X will thwart by any means for 3. We will exhaust. We don't really even need to do that yet. Oh, did I already tick up a charge counter? Well, I shouldn't have done that because I've got Inhibitor Collar. Because basically I'm going to thwart the main scheme for 2. No, I can have 1 do this. So I'll exhaust a character I control to discard the Inhibitor Collar. I'll tick up 1. Rogue will thwart the main scheme for 2. I'm not finishing Assassin's Guild, so let's just stave off losing. Just checking Blockbuster's not a assassin. Oh, that only says assassin minions anyways. Then we'll flip. We will exhaust and spend an energy resource to remove guild business from the game. So this is going to go up to 3. If Blockbuster gets an advance, it'll go up to 4 plus the boost, so that shouldn't lose me the game. So I think Morlock might just sit. Or I could just get him started on something. I'm just going to have him sit. End of the phase, do I want to discard these? What's the deck count here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keeping one card is kind of nice. I won't deck out immediately. Need a little bit of tempo. I'll discard Into the Fray here and end the turn. All right, how about a hide sometime soon? I would like that. All right, Psylocke is going to be really solid. 2 threat on the main scheme, up to 3. Blockbuster confused. 2 encounter cards. In the midst of chaos, come in with 3 threat Guild Assassin, which will not do its quick strike because we are in Alter Ego. Professor X is discarded, end of the round, which we knew would happen, but needed the thwart, needed the utopia, needed the confuse. Okay, so yeah, Psylocke is just, man, is Psylocke even that good? Because we're going to be advancing off of this villain soon. Could be a Thief Extraordinaire turn, because I think thwarting is what I don't want to do. Also recovering. Recovering might be what I need to do. Yeah, I think I need to recover for 3. Let's flip up, get our free charge counter. Morlock, thwart for 1, midst of chaos, rogue, thwart for 2, midst of chaos to clear it. Could lose to an advance now, so I need to thwart at least 1 on the main scheme. Gambit's got this guy covered. So final choice, Wolverine versus Psylocke. I like Wolverine here, I think. Psylocke would just be nice to be ready for the next villain, start confusing him. Okay, I might have convinced myself. Oh, I forget when I played the sidearm. I might have. Sidearm is actually nice on a Morlock. Okay, but we're gonna go Jet 2, 3, 4 for Psylocke. Ready Gambit. Put a sidearm on this Morlock. Gambit will attack the Guild Assassin for 2. Psylocke will thwart the main scheme for 2. So this is going to go up to 3. Advance brings it to 4 plus a boost. Should not end the game. If Blockbuster has a tough, I think that means I can't choose the first mode that gives him a tough. So I guess I do have this Morlock attack the tough off of Blockbuster. Yeah. And end the turn. Alright, go through the deck, extra encounter card. And hide anytime the hide wants to show up. You're more than welcome. Oof. Super resource heavy hand. And no X-Men. 2 threat on the main scheme. Blockbuster attacks. I'll give him a tough. And block with Rogue. No extra boost ability. 2 more encounter cards for a total of 3. Mutant Slayers. Each Marauder gains Quick Strike. When revealed, place an additional threat for each Mutant, X-Factor, X-Force, or X-Men. So we've got 4 of those. And Blockbuster is a Brute and a Marauder, so it doesn't add to this. So this gains 7 threat. Yikes. Heavy Armament attached to the enemy with the highest attack. It gains Retaliate 2, but after we attack it, spend 2 resources of any type to discard this card. Okay, should be irrelevant. We'll just attack him with some big attack that kills him. The Senator's Support comes in with 4 threat. When defeated, we discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an attachment is discarded and reveals that card. Okay, so at least temporarily we didn't actually get any Quick Strike stuff going on. So I think this is, yeah, we start with the Royal Flush. We've actually got some redundant confusing between Psylocke and Creole Charmer. Huh. Might have to let a Morlock die. Let's get our free charge counter. I mean, it's not like I have anything else to do. 1, 2, 3. As an interrupt, we go up to 8 counters. For Royal Flush, so as an interrupt, we'll spend 3 down to 5, from 8 down to 5. But then as an effect, we get 1 charge counter, and then we'll deal 3 damage to an enemy 3 times. So first hits the tough. These are not separate attacks. This is all 1 attack, so we won't take Retaliate until the end. And spoiler alert, we won't take any Retaliate. So one hits that, then we hit for 3 damage, then we hit for 3 damage. So this villain is defeated. Put it under routed. No retaliate because we defeated it, and this just falls off because we are revealing a villain with a new name who is going to activate right away. So it's Arclight. When she attacks, either confuse the character you control with the highest attack or give her +2 attack. So, oh, I was gonna maybe activate with the Morlock first. But I was also thinking about defending this attack. Yeah, it's definitely too late because I've seen what it is, so. How about I defend this attack? I'll confuse the character I control with the highest thwart, because that doesn't really hurt me that much. Psylocke might not be thwarting anymore. So then she's just attacking for 2. Gambit will defend. A boost of 2, which is 3 because of Amplify. So 5 attack coming in, defend for 3. I'll take 2 damage. Now, yep, so I will just exhaust to remove the confusion because I don't want to attack. Morlock will thwart. Okay, actually we don't need to thwart yet. Let's flip down. Creole Charmer. I can just Creole Charmer the main scheme. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Creole Charmer, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Since it removed the last, we confuse the villain. Keep Molecular Acceleration in hand. I don't need to use these guys up yet, so I think I just save them and end the turn. Ooh, Professor X is going to be solid. Forge doesn't have anything left to get. 2 threat on the main scheme. Arclight is confused. And only 2 encounter cards this turn. Pushed to the limit. I never set Arclight's hit points here. 13 hit points. And retaliate 1 because 1 guy under routed. So Arclight is going to have steady because there is 1 villain under routed. But we can have the attached villain attack us to discard this card. So, interesting. Card number 2, Titanium Exoskeleton attached to the enemy with the fewest remaining hit points. Cannot take more than 2 damage from an attack. Either spend 3 resources of any type or remove a confused or stunned status card from attached enemy to discard this card. Okay, that's kind of an interesting interaction there. So now my confuses are not so redundant. Okay, Thieves Guild might be the move here. Let's pay 1 for the Thieves Guild. So after we resolve Thief Extraordinaire, exhaust the Thieves Guild to remove 1 threat from a scheme. If it removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. So I think the strategy would be do a little bit of thwarting here just to spread my chances. I could play Professor X now, thwart this down to 1. That guarantees me a draw. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. I have to burn, chase them down, but I wasn't going to play that anyways. Oh, but then I don't get to use Utopia yet. So, okay, so I don't think I do that then. Okay, let's do this. Let's Morlock. This Morlock definitely thwarts something for 1. I think think the Assassin's Guild is a higher priority to clear. I don't think I'm going to get enough for Mutant Slayers, unfortunately. And do I hit it for one more with this Morlock? That is the question. I'm not even guaranteed to use this card I draw because of my resource situation. If I do draw a card. Now what else is that Morlock going to do? Okay. Thwart Assassin's Guild for 1. Down to 2. Now we'll Thief Extraordinaire. Look at the top 2. Ooh, we did hit a 2 and a 1. So actually we really wanted a 3. Well, it's kind of awkward. So we'll actually discard the 1. So that we remove 1 threat from here. Then Thieves Guild to remove 1 threat from a scheme. Oh, I probably could have done something with the main scheme too. I don't know. But we'll remove 1 threat from here. Since it removes that, we'll draw a card. Magic is actually pretty good, I think. Because I've got the resources to play both Magic and Professor X. So how much do I even care about Titanium Exoskeleton? Well, let's flip. Let's put a charge counter on for free. I mean, once we get a little bit of more breathing room, we might not actually be far from winning if we draw like Firepower or, well, I don't know. We're a few turns away from that. All right. Molecular Acceleration plus X-Jet. Acceleration gives me a charge counter. For Professor X, we will Confuse Arclight. Utopia to ready. Let's pay 3 for Magic. I'm in such not a rush to defeat this. Small chance we don't even ever defeat that Titanium Exoskeleton. Let's do some thwarting. I think I can either clear this or just get this way more manageable. I think I will just clear this. This is so bad though. Okay, I'm gonna start working on Mutant Slayers then. Thwart for 3 on Mutant Slayers. Gambit thwarts for 1 more. I mean, now I'm wishing I had just started on this, perhaps, with the Thief Extraordinaire. Magic thwarts for 1. I could even have Psylocke finish it. Kind of giving up those confuse status potential. But a quick strike is kind of gnarly. Yeah, shoot. I'm actually going to have Psylocke clear it. So thwart it for 2. Okay. And end the turn. We are on a villain now that we can just give the plus attack and not have to worry too much about crazy stuff happening. 1 threat on the main scheme. Arclight attacks. We'll just give her +2 attack and have Professor X block 2 boost icons, no additional ability. 2 encounter cards. Back in action, give the villain a tough status. Place threat on the main scheme equal to the number of villains under routed, which is 1. Up to 4. Vertigo, who thankfully does not quick strike. So, okay, let's get our free charge counter up to 9. And I could do some stuff here. Sunfire. Sunfire is looking primo. Let's gotta keep thwarting here. Let's thwart for 1 on the Senators, on the main scheme. Still no hide, and still 1 advance left in the deck. Pay 2 for Sunfire, readying with Utopia, spend an energy resource to discard pushed to the limit. I think I'm flipping down this turn. So we got the confusion, we can't die to a single advance. So let's pay 2 for charged card. I'll power it up, oh shoot. Well, I could power it up 3 times just so that it overkills and hits the tough. I've kind of got infinite charge counters. So I think it's worth it. We'll charged card 3 counters just to get it up to overkill. So we'll hit Vertigo, it'll overkill onto the tough. Gotta remember he's got Retaliate on everything, so still probably not attacking too much. Okay, I think I can just flip down. Here's what I'm gonna do. Let's Magic thwart for 1 on the main scheme. Will Thief Extraordinaire, or do we recover? It's going to go up to 3. Advance gets it to, yeah, advance is pretty risky. Let's Thief Extraordinaire. Okay, 1 or 1. So because Arclight is confused, we're going to get the one I don't pick as an encounter card. So either we get Riptide or a random Marauder. I'm fine with Riptide. So let's discard Bound by Business. Let's remove 1 threat from the main scheme. We'll Thieves' Guild to remove the last threat from the main scheme. Draw a card, unlikely to use. Beak is phenomenal. Let's keep Beak in hand for next turn. And I don't think we're in a rush to thwart that for 1, so let's just end the turn right there. Ooh, good chance to set up some weapons here, and then maybe win the game when next we draw Firepower. 1 threat, confused. So Riptide, as foretold. Assault is going to surge. Where's this hide? Inhibitor Collar, which is not bad. Okay. Well, now we've got 1 threat to clear here, but man, I think I really need to recover just to stay alive. So let's recover for 3. Flip to hero form. Get a free charge counter. Sorry, before I do that, before I get the free charge counter, we'll exhaust a character to discard Inhibitor Collar, making my text box not blank. Oh, I forgot. Or sorry, if each of your allies has the X-Men trait, increase your ally limit by 1. But these guys do not have the X-Men trait, so that part of Utopia is not active. Okay, let's have Magic and Sunfire both attack Riptide. So Magic's gets taken out, but that's okay. One, 2 for Beak. 3 X-Men allies will move 3 threat from the Senator's support. There's a small chance I don't want to defeat that, because if there's not an attachment left, I miss my hide on this deck pass. I really want to get that hide. So actually, I think I don't clear that yet. This also maybe leaves it primed for Thieves' Guild. And I'm 1 resource shy of doing Hand Cannon and Gambit Staff. How many allies left in the deck? 1, 2, 3, 4 in discard, 3 in play, 1 in hand. 2 allies left in the deck, so don't feel a huge need to hang on to White Queen. Let's pay 2 for Hand Cannon. Oh, I did not, when I played Beak, I would Utopia Gambit, of course. I could just get an attack. Let's get an attack in with Psylocke here. So as an interrupt, we deal 1 and confuse. And then the attack goes through for 1. Psylocke dies. Unfortunately wasting a confuse and or block, but I like getting that confuse on. We know there's an advance still in the deck, so. Keep Gambit's staff in hand. I think my health total is a little too precious to push 2 damage here. So let's just thwart for 1 on the main scheme and save Beak and end the turn. Okie dokie. 1 threat on the main scheme. Arclight attacks. Let's just say this Morlock, but I will give her plus attack and defend with Sunfire. If this activation is an attack, it gains Overkill. So this was 4 attack, 5, 6 from the Amplify. 1 gets blocked by Sunfire. 5 overkills into Gambit. I'm down to 2. And this is why we treat our health total preciously. 2 encounter cards. There's that advance. And is Hyde going to be the literal last card? Sure is. Assault. Ah, but we will see it on the boost. So, does that actually mean... No, I'll still block. I'll still just block with Beak. So give her +2 attack, block with Beak. Hyde is the boost, which gives a Morlock ally a tough status card. Oh, shoot. Okay, maybe I should have just let that happen, because if I forgot we'd get an additional boost card as well. And I don't know if Hyde gets reshuffled in or not. It's not really going to matter because we're going to reshuffle it anyways. I don't think Hyde gets reshuffled in automatically. Gosh, I'm going to be so mad if this is a Seek the Week, because although, I mean, okay, we knew Hyde was the last card. I could let myself say that I was letting this just go into the Morlock. Okay, yeah, for sure. So technically I forgot in that moment that this has a boost ability, but I had perfect information. I knew this was Hyde. I don't think it's a crazy take back to say that I'm not defending. Like, it still hurts for sure. So I'm gonna say we're not defending and this is just coming into here. Hope that's not too game breaking for you guys. All right, so the boost ability, gives him the tough, then the attack actually goes through to knock off the tough. So it's not like it dies before the tough can be applied. And okay, then it's back to me. Okay, possibly set up the win for next turn here. 7 cards in deck, guaranteed to see the Thieves Guild, assuming I can draw with, or guaranteed to see Firepower, assuming I can draw with the Thieves Guild. It'll be 3 instances of 6 damage. So We'll help it along with a little extra damage here. Just while I think a bit, let's exhaust a Morlock to shuffle Hide back in. Arclight not taking more than 2 damage from an attack is annoying. Could spend 3 resources to discard that. Let's get our charge counter for free. I could spend 3 resources and play charged card. That leaves me with only 2 weapons in play for firepower. I definitely need to go to Alter Ego. So now do I just Creole Charmer for the confusion? I think probably. So it's going to drag on a little bit, unfortunately, but if it's the right move, it's the right move. Pay 1 for Gambit's staff. Just keep charged card in hand. Flip down. No X-Men to trigger Utopia with. Recover for 3. Creole Charmer. Let's hit Senator's support. If it gets the steady one, that could be annoying. Let's do this. Let's have Beak thwart first. Sure. Let's have Beak thwart the Senator's support. Discard until we get an attachment. Advance gone. Okay. This is the one that gives him steady. So, unfortunately, Creole Charmer doesn't look very good anymore. We did get 1 advance out of the deck. So it's only steady, so I can still put the status on. And I guess I'm kind of locked into doing that since I flipped to Alter Ego. So 2 for Creole Charmer. Remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Put a useless Confuse on for now. And end the turn. I mean, we still need to hit advance and get unlucky with boost cards to lose, but, you know, it never feels good to leave a little bit of risk. Okay, actually didn't see firepower yet. 1 on the main scheme. Arclight schemes for 2, plus a boost of 1, plus an additional 1 per villain under routed. So that is total boost of 2 plus 2 is 4, so we're up to 5. So now advance only needs 1 boost icon to defeat us, which feels pretty bad. Assassination attempt. Each assassin minion attacks you, even if you're an alter ego. If there are no assassin minions in play, search one up and reveal it. Let us indeed find one of our guild assassins. Quick strike will not trigger because we're in alter ego. And the Assassin's Guild, which is not bad at all. It's not in advance, so that's all that matters. Okay. All right, now this is probably good enough to restabilize. Ooh, this is actually really solid into the fray. Get a whole bunch of thwarting done on the main scheme. Oh, did I actually shuffle hide in? Yeah, I did. Honestly, think I just want to recover again. So let's recover for 3. Up to 8. Also got triage. Maybe I don't recover if I'm just going to play triage, but maybe I play Wolverine anyways. Wolverine's probably the better play. Flip up. Free charge counter up to 3. Well, I can't play Wolverine and into the fray. So it probably is triage. All right. Let's do something here. All right, I'm gonna have Arclight attack me. I'm gonna choose to confuse the character you control with the highest thwart, which will be Beak, who's also gonna defend this attack. Boost is Shadow the Past. Well, I guess we've already been shadowed. So that'll discard this. So now the confuse is live. Wanted to do that first in case you got overkill. Now triage gets a little bit more healing value. But we'll pay 2 for triage. Utopia to ready. Heal myself for 1. Into the fray. So 6 damage to Guild Assassin. Let's buff it up to 7. Whoops. So 2 will hit it, and then the remaining 5 will remove 5 threat from the main scheme. And then, yeah, actually, why not actually? Let's attack for 2. Take a retaliate. Maybe I could have started thwarting this. Whatever. And then triage might end up having to block, so let's thwart for 1 with triage. End the turn. All right, go through the deck and get an encounter card. It's going to be 2 threat on the main scheme. Arclight attacks a Morlock. Let's do the same trick here. Let's confuse triage. And then block with triage. I think I probably had some opportunities to do that earlier that I missed, but oh well. Maybe the one that did overkill, maybe I could have confused somebody instead. So, confusing triage, blocking with triage. Seek the Weak does gain overkill, so look at that, learning from my mistakes. So that is an attack that comes in for 3, 1 hits triage, 2 overkills into me. 2 more encounter cards. And we still could have 1 Morlock die and still win. So Hide is going to give a Morlock a tough status, which is excellent, and then Surge. Grey Crow. Seek the Weak, villain attacks. Since there is a villain under-routed, this gains overkill. Oh, let's draw the rest of my hand. Ooh, a lot of damage. Okay. So, yeah, I think I'd probably just let this go to the tough. Or I basic defend. I'll just let it go to the tough. Sure. And give him plus attack. No extra ability. Tough goes. Last card. Guild Assassin is going to quick strike. Oh, I've been forgetting about, well, I forgot about Gambit's staff. I guess if I want to exhaust it for firepower, I don't want to do that anyways. So this quick strike is going to come at me for 2, so I think I just take 2. Alright, let's exhaust Morlock to shuffle in Hide while I think. One resource away from probably winning. Or wait, no, firepower only costs 1. So assuming we get, no, we got it. So we'll discard the confused status from Arclight to discard titanium exoskeleton. We'll pay 1, 2, 3 for Royal Flush, charging it thrice. Down to 5, we tick up to 6. 3 damage to Arclight 3 times. We'll bring her to 0. Okay, I guess this next guy is going to attack for free, so we'll see what happens here. So Chimera gets to attack. Chimera comes in with 14. Oh, this is actually a little bit tricky. So I guess I have her attack. Yes, I have her attack. No, that doesn't work. Yeah. No, I have her attack this Morlock so that if it overkills, I don't die. I lose a weapon, but I still have 2, so I'll go 12, and then Gambit attacks. And there's no way this kills me. So, yeah, attack this Morlock. Because I'm pretty sure I get to pick what Morlock it attacks, right? Forced interrupt. Yeah. So +2 attack, coming in for 4, 5, so it's just straight up dead. So if it got this one instead, it wouldn't have ended up mattering. Then we go Firepower, charge it 3 times, exhaust 2 weapons. So we're going to do, so for each upgrade exhausted, which was 2, choose an enemy and deal 3 damage to it. So we boosted that to 6 damage for each instance, which brings Chimera down to 2 for 12 total damage, and then Gambit swings for the final 2. Sweet, okay. And yeah, no retaliate there on the firepower attack because this gains ranged. All right, that ended up being a lot more of a slog than I thought it would be, but we had that nightmarish turn in the middle, and then took a while to sort of claw back from that, and even then was a little precarious with health at the end. So a really sweet match. Glad we got to end it in a big burst, like I sort of had hoped for when putting the deck together. And there we go. First scenario knocked out for next evolution. And always good to get a win with aggression as well. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.